We're recording in live.
What's going on, everybody?
This is fucking weird.
It's weird hearing a different song
Yeah.
behind us. But what's going on, everybody? I'm Robert, and with me is Colton, and we are the hosts of a show called Bridging the Geekdoms. That's our podcast. I'm sure you see in our feed all the other shows, Bridging the Geekdoms.
Or as you used to know us as the remote control.
Yes, that's what we used to be known as. But now we are Bridging the Geekdoms, and this here is our show called MovieBoot. This is the movie reboot podcast where we sit down and we take old movies, new movies, young movies, middle-aged movies.
Sad, lonely 40-year-old movies that know that they're at a bar to meet a man. Wait. Sorry.
But this is the podcast where we just reboot all types of movies. We reboot them, reimagine them, do whatever the heck we want with them, and say, you know what?
And then kiss them when we're done.
You know what? We would do the movie this way. Now, this isn't always to say that the movie that we're rebooting was bad. That is not saying that at all. Sometimes we love some of the movies that we talk about. We've talked about in the past on our previous episodes. But there are times where we'll talk about a movie that was just ass as well. Yeah. So we do that as well. This week on our reboot of MovieBoot, of what we're doing.
We're rebooting the movie reboot podcast. Reboot.
So, what we're doing today is Star Wars The Last Jedi. Now, this movie has been very divisive. I mean, people hate it, people love it, people love to talk about it, people hate to talk about it.
Touch themselves to it.
Now, it's easy to see that Star Wars The Last Jedi was not the film that everybody wanted it to be. Not even me, somebody who enjoyed the movie. It is not what I wanted it to be.
No.
But I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, there wasn't enough Jawas for me. Or Jar Jar references.
Ah, damn it.
Well, we can see where this episode's going.
Yes. Now, in the past, we've had a formula. Basically, we say, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. This, though, is just going to be this. We're just going to talk. This is going to be a conversation.
We're just going to do it.
We're going to have a conversation. We're going to talk about how we would have made the movie different and better. That's all we're going to do. Whether we keep some of the aspects that are from the movie already, or if we create new things, or bring in new characters that we just create, whatever it is.
Or cut out like 20 minutes of the film.
But this is what we know. This is where okay. Episode 7, The Force Awakens, is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay? Every other Star Wars movie is what it is.
The whole canon is what it is.
The canon is what it is, and we're saying, okay, all that happened. This is going to be Episode 8 by Robert and Colton.
Yeah, we're sitting in the writing room with the writers.
Which is just you and I.
Yeah. But we're saying we're Rian Johnson.
No, you're you and me.
Yeah, but in this theoretical world, we're Rian Johnson when he sat down with the writers of Episode 8.
But I don't understand because I'm Bob and you're Colton.
Okay.
Rian Johnson isn't writing the reboot, we are.
Yeah, but like we're the place of Rian Johnson when he was actually writing Episode 8.
But then Rian Johnson wouldn't be there if we were there.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're Bob and Colton.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. I don't know what the fuck just happened. My brain hurts. I'm Colton. I'm 22. I like long walks on the beach.
All right.
Penis coladas.
All right. So as I knock my microphone everywhere.
Just fucking throw it. Hey, I think while we were recording one of these, I kept smacking my mic at one point in time.
All right.
Okay.
So episode 7 ends.
Okay.
Rey is handing Luke the lightsaber, or not. She's reaching out the lightsaber to Luke, which he's about 15, 20 feet away.
Yeah.
At the edge of a cliff. Episode 7 ends.
Okay.
Episode 8 begins.
Luke falls off that cliff.
Credits.
But for real, he kind of just jumps off.
You're saying he jumps?
Well, not like he takes a step back. I don't know how to. He just. Okay, so I'm gonna stand up. So he right here is the edge, and he's like this. And he just takes a step and falls.
But why?
Because he's lifting his X-wing up behind him, showing that Luke's still a badass.
I don't think that's the time to make him look like a badass, dude.
But just open up the movie with that. Just be like, oh, okay, Luke's still Luke.
No.
Has a Wookiee head. He's been hunting on his days off.
I mean, I know there was a lot of people, before Episode 8 came out, people were like, oh, do you have a hand with that? There was a hand with that and stuff like that, I don't think it should go that way.
He found his hand.
I actually don't mind the reaction that he gave in Episode 8.
I don't think he should throw the lightsaber.
I think I don't think he should. He should
like
throw
that
it,
was just like.
But I think if she hands it to him and he looks at it and he like pushes it back to her.
Yeah, he's just like, no,
yeah, I don't want it.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, you can have that. And then he walks away. And he does his whole walk away thing, and then you hear Rey, Master Skywalker.
Stop.
Master Skywalker.
Would you change the way the planet looks?
Octu?
Yeah.
No, I think Octu looked nice. I think it was perfect for what you need. I liked it because it was secluded.
Yeah.
And, the whole thing, everybody's like, why did Luke go to kill himself if he left a map for himself? We're going to get into that later here. But he went to one of the early first Jedi temples,
to learn or protect.
I think it's I think in the movie I think it would be interesting to explain, because he explained in episode 7 that after everything failed, that's where he ran off.
Yeah. And in Battlefront 2, it's kind of explained that he's like searching for Jedi.
Yeah, and he's
items.
searching for stuff. So I think it would be interesting if that he kind of went off on his own after everything fell. But he got stuck there. He got something happened to his X-Wing, and he was stuck there. Mm-hmm. So, over time, over the years that he's been there, he's come to the conclusion that he's not needed in the universe.
Yeah.
And he has shut himself off from the Force slightly, not completely.
Yeah.
But enough where he can't feel certain things that are going on, like Han's death and stuff like that.
And no one can sense it.
And the further fall of Kylo Ren, like he doesn't sense that because he's gotten to the point where he felt like, I'm not needed in the universe anymore, so I'm just gonna be here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna exist until I die.
Exactly. I think that would have made a lot more sense for why he's there. And then the map to where he is, then it wasn't that he left a map to find himself or for people to find him, because I think it was he was out searching, and he at some point, he
was just tracking.
Yeah, just looking for Jedi remnants and stuff like that. And that's, where he ended up. And, Lor Santeca and R2-D2 just happen to have the two parts of the map that can find where he was at. Whether he was there or not, they weren't 100% sure.
Yeah.
But they were hoping, and he ended up being there. I think that would sound a lot better.
So you would turn his tone from angry to more somber.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Good.
Very somber.
Because I didn't understand why he was angry. I mean, he didn't want to be found, but, why be an asshole about it?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. You were found. Oh, shit. I'm going to be a dick and try to hopefully scare her away to bring everybody else to me.
Yeah.
I
don't get it either.
That doesn't make sense.
But I think at that point, you have Rey who's trying to really, okay, I came here to get you. Your sister wanted me to get you. And he's like, why? Why hasn't she reached out to me? I would have known if she were to reach out to me. And I don't know, something along the lines of Rey's she's been having trouble reaching you, she can't reach you.
You did go into hiding.
Yeah, the universe needs Master Skywalker.
Yeah. The universe needs a legend.
They need Jedi Master Skywalker, and he's just like, no, they don't. And that's kind of the way he starts to go. He's more like, no, they don't need me. I've been stuck here for X amount of years. They've not needed me since, during that time. Why all of a sudden do they need me now? Yeah. And that's when Rey explains to him everything that happened. But during the explanation is when he discovers and he starts to open up his mind and he sees the Force within Rey. Yeah. And his head starts moving. That's, he's sitting there thinking, Rey's they need you, pointing at Luke. But he's going in his head, no, they need you. Yeah. They need you, Rey. But he's not going to tell her that. Yeah. So what he does is, instead of saying, I'm not going to go with you or anything like that, he goes, well, and he just makes up a story. There's a storm coming. We can't leave until the storm's gone.
Yeah, and does the whole Mr. Miyagi thing.
So, and he's like, but during that time, let me teach you some things about the Force. Let me teach you some things. And that's kind of what happens. He goes on and on about the Force and everything like that and starts teaching Rey. All right, and that's kind of how everything gets into him teaching her. And he teaches her what happened about, Vader, about the Sith, about the Jedi and the good and the evil and stuff like that. And he does, when he's teaching her. And I still like the scene where she's sitting on the ledge and she goes to that dark place, because I think it would be interesting. Like for at one point he's like, sit down. I want you to relax, reach out.
Doesn't smack her with a branch.
Yeah, it doesn't do that stupid
no
stuff.
comedy.
But what do you feel? And she's like, good, bad, and
life, death,
loved ones. And he goes, loved ones, and it's kind of like that scene from Empire where Luke is, upside down and he's reaching out with the Force, and he goes, Han, Leia, and he falls because he feels that they're in danger. The movie opens all the way up to that point. So you're talking like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is...
like 15, 20 minutes up to that point, and then boom, it goes, because she's like, they're in danger. And she feels that her friends are in danger.
Yeah.
And that's where you start to see the evacuation of the planet.
I would like to see a little bit more of that, too. Build characters up.
Yeah, because then you would see the evacuation of I can't remember what planet it is, but they're
that planet.
Yeah, but they're trying to leave, and that's why she's feeling that they're in danger, because they are in danger. They have to evacuate. They're being chased down. While I did enjoy the little Poe thing in the beginning of the movie, get rid of that.
Yeah, we don't need it.
Get rid of that. But where would you go from there?
With the evac, I would have, like, they're in the middle of it, not like towards the end like the movie did.
Yeah.
Like, they were in the middle of it and the First Order shows up. But then you have Maz Kanata and a couple, like, space pirates kind of fight them off long enough for them to escape. Then they go into hyperspace. That's how that ends. Maz Kanata somehow escapes but does something, so she's no longer in the movie. That was her, like, 15 minutes of fame. Then the First Order is like, rah! And Snoke actually is still kind of big. They don't know who Snoke is yet. And it's found out that the First Order lands on that planet, and Snoke is somewhere on that planet.
Okay. So they couldn't escape, is what you're saying, right? So,
like, they're like in a system over. Like, they just escaped enough to get some distance.
Okay.
But, like, the First Order wasn't there to kill them. They were there for Snoke. Snoke was always on that planet.
Oh, I see what you're saying now. Okay.
Yeah. So they like, Snoke's there.
Okay.
So, like, his ship is still a projection of him.
That's interesting.
And then, like,
That's interesting.
he's, like, underground. It's kind of like Mustafar, but not.
Yeah.
But, like, the essence of Mustafar.
But speaking of the Mustafar thing, I want it to be Hux that shows up there.
Yeah.
All right, Hux shows up for Snoke, and he goes, and again, this is taking place almost immediately after...
7.
After 7, where Snoke says, come to me and bring Kylo with you.
Yeah.
But Hux shows up without Kylo. Right? He walks in and he's like, Supreme Leader, blah blah blah. And he's freaking out, doing the Hux thing, freaking out about look what happened. This is what happened. You're
everybody's dead.
Everybody's dead. Your precious pet Kylo Ren, has been a nuisance, and and Hux is like freaking out about Kylo, and Snoke goes, where is he? And then it cuts to Kylo on Mustafar.
Yeah.
Showing up on Mustafar
at
Vader's
castle. That would be badass.
Okay, and he's showing up there, and he's going in, and he's still kind of scarred from everything. They could do the little thing where they're showing he's getting being patched up and everything, but he goes and he's just having a hell of a time. Like he can't control himself. It's the anger has built up so much inside of him. And he's like, how could she have beat me? Like he's freaking out about
like
that.
He's doing what Vader did when he found out Padme died.
Even more so, freaking out, and he goes and he stands on the ledge of the castle, looking out into Mustafar, the lava of Mustafar, and he starts talking to his grandfather again, like he did in Force Awakens. I just think it would be really cool if he would, have that connection with Vader still, because that's something I felt was lost in Episode 8. Like, he was so obsessed and had this connection. He believed he had this connection with Vader, but it was lost in Episode 8. So I think it would be cool for him to continue that connection that he believes he has with his grandfather. So we see him there, and,
Would you have Anakin show up? Force Ghost Anakin?
Maybe.
Or
let's
Force
keep going.
Ghost
Let's keep
Vader.
going with this, though. Let's see where this leads us.
So he's looking out there.
Yeah, so he's looking out there, and as he's talking to his grandfather, all of a sudden you hear Ben and Leia's voice. And it cuts to Leia on wherever they're at, because they're running away, on a ship or whatever, and she's reaching out to him. And again, we're getting that force projection again,
Yeah.
which I really liked. I really loved that. I know a lot of people hated it. I think it was brilliant. I loved that idea of force projection like that. I thought it was awesome.
Like, again, why couldn't you do it?
Yeah,
like
exactly. And, I would love to see a conversation between Leia and Ben. And saying, and they talk about him killing Han.
But he's like actually kind of sincerely sorry about it.
Yeah,
he's like, I'm sorry, but I had to do it.
Not sorry. No, he's not sorry. He's conflicted. He's still conflicted. He thought that by doing that, all his conflicted feelings would go away, but he's now more conflicted than he was before.
Yeah.
And he's trying to handle that, and that's why he didn't go see Snoke. That's why he didn't go to Snoke, because he felt that Snoke would sense that in him. So instead of going with Hux, he went to the one area, the one place where he thought he could be understood, and it's his connection with his grandfather. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the idea.
It's creating the dynamic.
Exactly. So there's a conversation between him and Leia, like, I'm conflicted. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know. And she, just like Han was saying, will come back. We can figure this out together. And he's just like, I can't. I can't do it. And,
after what I did, I can't.
Snoke is too powerful. Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
He keeps saying stuff like that, and it cuts to Leia, and at the moment, like, they're not cuts to Leia, but they're going back and forth between Leia, and at one moment, a hologram pops up, and right as a hologram pops up, it's Snoke, and their connection between Leia and Kylo is lost, and Snoke is like, Kylo, I requested your like in Snoke way, like I told you to come here, you need to come here, like that kind of thing, and it's like there's a little like push, pushing back and forth, like an angsty teenager almost, like, again, very Anakin-like, pushing, like
how about no?
I needed to come here. I needed to think. No, I told you to come here, but I needed to get no. You need to come here now. Our plans are in motion. This is all planned to eradicate the resistance and everything. And he's like, I need you here. So it cuts away, and we're back to Rey.
And you get a cooler looking TIE fighter.
I like this TIE fighter,
but cooler looking. Got racing stripes on it.
But we're back to Rey.
Back to Rey. So I would pick it up right after we left. Kind of like they were like, oh, this happened, but at the same time, this is happening. Yeah. So we go back, and she's training, and the ground, she finds it goes down into that dark place.
Well, that would have happened. Oh no, she wouldn't go down. I keep going, because I like the one moment that I really liked in The Last Jedi was the moment where everything was really quiet and she found the texts. Yeah. I think that would be cooler for her to find that and then find that the dark hole.
Well, I'm talking about when she was still meditating, and she went straight for the dark. Yeah. And everything was breaking. I'm going to the breaking. That
would have happened before.
Oh, okay.
We would've
never mind then.
Shit, because I said that I feel my friend's in danger. So okay, we come back. How about this? Because I like what you're saying there. But we come back, and it's nighttime, but Luke comes over to her and starts hitting her with his staff, wake up. Yeah. I gotta talk to you some more.
And Chewbacca's still eating porgs. Let's keep that.
Gotta keep that. And he takes her to the Jedi texts, and he goes, blah blah blah. This is the Jedi. This is what these are, and everything like that. This is again. He's in a way trying to teach her without her knowing he's teaching her. Yeah. And that's the whole plan idea behind it, because she was so resistant, and he could feel the resistance in her, and that's why he's doing this. He's trying to find a way to teach her without her knowing. So, he's telling her about the books and everything like that, and he goes, I want to try this meditation thing again, because I really feel that you might be able to help me in connecting to Leia and stuff like that. So she sits down, and then we have that moment.
She's breaking everything.
Yeah, where she started, he's like, clear your mind of your friends, clear your mind, just reach out, and then she goes, but now she feels Kylo. Yeah. And that's where she hits the dark place, because she feels Kylo, and she starts to get upset and angry about Han being killed. Yeah. And, and she has yet to tell him about Han. So she starts to get upset about Han being killed and Finn being injured. And that's why she goes to that dark place. And she can't stop herself, because it's just, it's building up, and she's never been taught how to suppress it. Yeah. So, it's building up, and then things crack, and he's like, whoa, no, not again, that kind of thing.
But during that scene, her eyes are closed and everything's like Occ 2-ish.
Yeah.
Fades to black, and you start to go back onto Star Destroyer.
Starkiller?
Starkiller
base.
And it, like reliving that scene, but she's kind of sitting between Han and Kylo.
Okay.
Like it's happening like she's right there.
Yeah, like okay, like she's where the camera kind of was.
Yeah.
In the movie.
And she's like right there, and she screams, and that's how she snaps herself out of it.
Yeah, right when the saber gets ignited, no, and then she comes out, and right when she says no, everything breaks. That's when everything
and just shatters.
And Luke is like,
Luke's like, holy shit, man.
You went to the dark, like, and that's when he gives his that same speech, because again, it's a good speech. You know,
yeah.
I've seen this raw power once before. You know, I wasn't scared enough then. I'm scared now.
Yeah.
And now we see the little bit of scared in him, but not so much to the fact of where he's a whiny little failure, but the fact that he's like, I don't think I can go through this again.
Yeah,
like that's his mind thought. His you know, the way his mind is thinking is, I can't go through this. I failed Kylo, despite the fact that I felt the anger, the darkness in him. I wasn't afraid because I thought I could do it.
Yeah,
and I couldn't. And I failed. I'm sensing it again, and
I don't want to.
And that's kind of how I think that would go a lot better.
Back to Mustafar, the Knights of Ren are somewhere on there.
Oh, yeah, when he lands on Mustafar, they're all standing there when he walks out, and they follow him in.
Yeah.
into the castle.
Yeah, had that thought right there. That's why I was
that.
like,
Yeah.
I was like, wait, I can wait.
Yeah.
I can wait. It's a good idea.
I like that.
So they do they take off with him though when he goes to meet Snoke?
Yeah, but let's jump to the Resistance and get some deeper Resistance.
Well, I wasn't done with Rey yet, but I just had that thought, and I was like, oh shit, I can't let this one run because.
But I think at this point, I think it's a good place to leave. Luke is like says that, and he walks away, and Rey's just like,
she's like, the fuck, man.
But what about everybody else? You know, like her mind is thinking about everybody else now, so you jump to them. You know, it's that way of filmmaking where it's like, you know, you create your tell the audience what that person is thinking by going to that person or to those people. And you know, at that moment she's thinking of her friends in the Resistance, and you go there and it opens up to Finn in that new Bacta tank.
Yeah.
You know, and he's just laying there getting healed and stuff like that. I
don't think he should come to until like the end of the movie. Midway through the movie.
A little further into the movie than right away, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say the Resistance lands on Yavin 4.
I'm
the old rebellion base.
I'm perfectly fine with that.
So they land there, and all the leaders, Akbar, Leia, everybody else, Poe.
Poe isn't a big leader, but
he's there, and they're planning their next move essentially.
Yeah, their next move on how to
escape.
Yeah,
fight.
You know, they're starting. They're trying to reach out to other factions of the Resistance, other people, and stuff like that. Iden Versio.
Yeah.
You know, little Battlefront reference there.
Yeah, get her in there. They get.
I'm not saying that she needs to get there or come, but they reach out to her. Like, you know, they're at one point like, you know, they say something about her group, like, "Hey, where's
Inferno Squad?"
Yeah, where's Inferno Squad right now? No, it's not Inferno Squad now, but what was it?
We'll call them Inferno Squad for the sake of the story.
Yeah, but where are they at now? You know, and they mention something that's going on in the game.
Yeah.
So the game that's going on, they mention that, and that's what's happening.
And they're like, "Oh, she's busy." Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Somehow, but they get in contact with her, and she's like, "The best I can do is give you credits." That's it.
Yeah, I mean, the credits wouldn't really do anything at this point, but
I mean, you don't know yet.
Yeah. But they're like, reach out to what would be like General.
Yeah.
Reach out to General Calrissian.
Yeah, and then we get old Lando still playing
Sabacc.
Yeah, playing Sabacc. And he's like still wagering ships and shit.
Yeah.
And the robot, oh shit, no. Oh no, the robot doesn't exist.
Lobot.
Yeah, Lobot's there, but the one that becomes part of the Millennium Falcon, because she's technically not there yet.
L337.
She's not there yet because Solo came out after 8. She doesn't exist. We wrote her off here. Does not exist. But he has another Wookiee companion.
Different.
Yeah, I would like to say he has a Wookiee companion, and I'm gonna play onto that later on in the reboot. But he's playing Sabacc, and that's when like a transmission just comes up in the middle of the table.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Everybody leave."
Yeah.
Like leave.
Yeah.
And then that's when he gets to the fight.
Well, no, and they explain to him what happened, but they don't tell him about Han. Now, keep in mind right now, Luke doesn't know about Han. Lando doesn't know about Han. The only people that know about Han
are Leia and Chewbacca.
Leia, Chewbacca, and Rey. All right, those are the only people that truly know what happened to Han.
Well, and Finn. But
he's incapacitated.
Yeah.
So the only people that are
actively there,
actively around, you know, are part of the Resistance. Those are the only people that know: Chewbacca, Leia, and Rey, and then Kylo obviously knows.
Yeah.
But that there's a reason for it. Like I have a reason for this, you know. So, So, you know, they're like, look, you know, the new
Senate?
Republic. The New Republic. There we
you
go.
go.
The New Republic has been destroyed. We're calling all hands on deck. We need you here now. You know.
But the New Republic wouldn't still have an army, wouldn't it? Because like not all their ships were there. Obviously.
Remember the New Republic? You didn't read the books. The New
Republic,
I
didn't read that.
The New Republic has been. Like they were very
new.
Not new, but they were adamant about not needing to have a big army at all because they did not believe that there was a true threat, and they were trying to keep everything demilitarized so it didn't happen again.
That makes sense.
Okay, so that's kind of what their thought process was.
So their army would have been destroyed. Like
yeah, and because the Resistance was created by Leia, but it was kind of done like against the Republic's wishes, but some of them wanted her to do it, so they had to do it secret and
kind of like the rebellion.
But it wasn't. Again, it was created to protect the Republic secretly, you know, because
they were like freedom fighters.
Kind of, something like that. So that was kind of the idea behind it. But so they reach out to a bunch of different factions, you know, maybe introduce a new character, Holdo. Holdo at one point, you know,
and make her not a Jedi.
Well,
I mean, she could be Force user.
Yeah, she's not a Force user or anything. She's just a general.
She can be a lesbian too if she wants.
But you know, Lando and like maybe make those two like the big ones that we meet. Maybe we see a couple others that they talk to, but they're just throwaway characters. But have two big ones that are out far away that are going to be coming to meet them. Okay, so you have them coming, and then all of a sudden we go back to Snoke and we see Kylo landing on the planet and going to meet with Snoke. And their plan is, we know where they're at. We know they're on Yavin 4. They're like, we know they're on Yavin 4. They don't know that we know that. So here's the thing. We need to wipe out the Resistance and wipe out the Republic completely. Okay?
Wipe out the entire moon.
So he goes, our entire fleet that's remaining is going there. Like, that's it. We're going.
We're blockading.
We're blockading them. They're going to be destroyed. That's it. It's done. It's over with. We know they're there. We're going to wipe them out. And, you know, it's like Snoke then throws his doubt on Kylo, you know, and he's like, General Hux, you will be in command of this mission. And Kylo freaks out.
He's like, what?
Yeah, he just freaks out. He loses it. You know, he's like, but sir, I can handle this. You know, but you know, Supreme Leader, I can handle this. And he still has the mask. You know, so he's freaking out with the mask on. And again, another line that I loved: take that ridiculous mask off. I love that because it
humanized him.
Exactly, and it showed Snoke as being like, look, you're a fool. Like, stop with the Vader shit.
Yeah,
you know,
quit acting like a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, this isn't play like dress time.
Yeah,
like,
we got to get real here.
This is real life. I can kill you.
Yeah. So, you know, he says that line, take that ridiculous mask off. And he takes it off and he goes, like, much better. He starts to talk about his scars. He's like, you should, you know, accept those scars, accept those, you know,
accept those failures.
Let that make you who you are, you know, and forget about the past, forget about Vader, forget about this is now. We are going to do this, and until you can prove to me that you will do that, General Hux is in charge, and like that's how it goes, and now it builds up that tension between Hux and Kylo even more.
Yeah,
you see the doubt in Snoke, or Kylo sees the doubt that Snoke has in him, so that's gonna make him now like he doubts me, and he shouldn't, you know, and that's
out to prove something.
Exactly. Now he's like, I gotta prove. And I think to Kylo, very much like it was in the movie to begin with, it's not to prove to Snoke, it's to prove to himself.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, I got to prove to myself that I am stronger and more of a leader than either of these two. Yeah. You know, and I think that's kind of the way that it needs to go.
And the Knights of Ren are just chilling.
Yeah, they kind of like we see him show up, and the Knights of Ren walked out behind him and stuff like that. And then whenever he leaves, he doesn't have his mask anymore because you know I liked him destroying it in the elevator. Like that was another cool thing. So maybe he destroys it, but he gets back on the ship, and they fly off and they go into space, and when you get into space, you just see Star Destroyers. Like, as far as the eye can see.
Fucking armada.
And you see the Dreadnought. You know, you see Snoke's Dreadnought waiting there for Snoke to get into it. But you just see all of these Star Destroyers.
Yeah, like way more survived than like 4.
Yeah. So you see that, and I
mean, at this point, the Resistance would have a fleet too, because they didn't really send anything.
Yeah.
So like,
actually, a cool little tidbit would be that Hux is in charge, but Kylo, you and the Knights of Ren are going to be our reconnaissance crew. You guys are going to go there first.
Yeah. And tell us what's up.
And exactly, you know, get onto the planet and be on the planet, because I have an idea for that.
Cool.
So,
I was leading into something with that too, but so I would take it back to like Luke sleeping, and you kind of see visions of what actually happened that night.
So he's having nightmares.
Yeah.
Of a la Anakin in Episode 3.
Yeah.
Where where Anakin was having like the future of seeing Padme die, but Luke is having dreams of what happened in the past and his failures.
Like you could see Kylo start to go to the dark.
Dude, that makes so much sense.
And then you see the fall of Kylo.
Because
fall of Ben, I guess. Technically.
Because that drove Anakin. You know, Anakin losing Padme. The future is what drove Anakin to the dark side, and that's what pushed Anakin. The fear of the past is what is holding Luke back at this point in time.
Yeah.
It's the fear, and they kind of touched on it in 8 a little bit, but you know, they didn't do a great job with Rian Johnson's film. But here they could do, like you're saying, do it with dreams similar to Anakin.
Yeah.
You see the connection there, and you know it's he's starting to get afraid, and the reason why he's having them is because of what happened with Rey.
Yeah,
because he's seeing the same thing.
It's
there.
like PTSD. It's triggering
exactly.
something.
It's triggering something, and you know he's having a nightmare, and Rey comes over to him and tries to wake him up, and he won't wake up, you know, because he's in this nightmare, like he's just so into it, and she's trying to wake him up, and finally she like gets him up, and he gets scared and pulls out his lightsaber like he's gonna hit her, and he stops right before, and she's like all like frightened,
she's like whoa,
and then at that moment it's another flash to him standing over
Kylo.
Ben, and then he sees Ben's face, and then it flashes to Rey's face, and it's just like a similar like scared look, and
he kind of just puts it away.
He turns it off, and he goes, "Get out of here," you know.
Yeah.
And she walks out.
She's like, "Oh."
Yeah. And she walks out, and then she hears the voice.
Yeah.
The voice is calling her
to the tree. Would you make it a tree?
It wasn't a tree. It was the pit. Because we went to the tree.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going.
I have an idea for the tree, though. We got to make the sequence longer for the tree.
All right, what was the tree?
Because like she opens a book and she starts reading it, and then like memories from the past, so you can make like the old Republic show up.
That would be cool.
Like you get, and then like eventually it fades to black, and you just get all the silhouettes of like Obi-Wan, Yoda, and all the masters, and it's just like the telling of the prequels and the original trilogy and stuff.
Okay, I like that. I like that a lot.
And then we can go back to what we were.
Okay, so we're back to so she's hearing, you know, voices calling to her and everything like that, and she goes to the pit, and she's looking inside, and she falls in like she fell in. But as she's some of the voices that she's hearing, where she's hearing voices that we see as familiar, such as Obi-Wan, Yoda, Qui-Gon, like
Mace Windu.
Old voices that we know from the Star Wars universe, and some that we don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're hearing these voices, and it's a battle. You know, you can hear Palpatine's voice, Vader's voice, Anakin's voice. You know, different things. Maybe even like bring some from the cartoon, like Ahsoka and stuff like that. Like bring stuff like that.
Bane, Revan.
Like, you know, where you can hear that it's a battle between pulling Rey to someplace. You know, the good and evil, and she's being torn apart by these two sides, and she gets. She gets pulled, you know, into the pit, and she's in the pit, and she comes out of it, and as she comes out, you hear the voices, but they're all in unison. Who are you? And it's just all in unison, though. So it's like that weird, like
who
vibration and not vibration, but you know, just
the unity of voices.
Unity of voices, and it kind of echoes through. And again, that's what's driving her. You know, we got to get back to what's driving Rey.
Yeah.
You know, because finding out who she is what's going to drive her.
Yeah, it says that, and it's silence.
Silence, complete silence in there. Exactly. Nothing. No music in the film or anything.
Nothing.
Just complete silence.
Like that silent 10 seconds from like when the Star Destroyers.
Yeah.
Just kind of put it there.
Yeah.
But longer, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. So she, she stands up and she starts looking around, and much like the tree with the books, down here has a bunch of carvings and stuff in the wall, and you're seeing like old remnants of the Jedi, of people meditating and fires and visions and stuff like that, and she's looking at all this stuff, and she comes to one, and it's the prophecy of the Chosen One. And she sees the prophecy of the Chosen One, and it's it shows a single mother with a child who gets taken by 2 Jedi, and then you see him trained, and like you see
the story of Anakin.
Story. Yeah, you see it on the wall, but it shows him as being victorious. It doesn't show him falling to the dark side and then being victorious. It just shows him leading, going through and being victorious of a huge, big Jedi type of thing. And she looks at that and just curious, like this is interesting. But she feels a connection with one of the figures that was training the Chosen One.
Ooh, Qui-Gon.
And but she feels this,
or
like,
Palpatine.
Maybe, but she has this weird feeling to it, or about it, and she's just she starts like, who is that? Like what is that? And then she sees that, but I kind of like the mirror sequence, but maybe change it a little bit, where she sees the mirror, but in the mirror she sees herself, and she's
but with a goatee.
With a goatee, with an evil mustache.
Yeah, exactly. And then we all know whose mustache that is.
Mustache. So
Grievous.
Yeah,
genius.
So she's standing there looking at the mirror, and the voices start up again. And this is what. So she goes and she touches the mirror, and right as she touches the mirror, Kylo appears on the mirror, like Kylo Ren. Again, very similar to Luke's experience on Dagobah. But Kylo shows up in the mirror, and she gets scared right away and pulls out the lightsaber, and the mirror just explodes, because she uses it, and the mirror explodes, and there's another mirror right behind it, and it's her again.
It's like, wait, what? And,
it kind of cuts to Luke, and he feels it.
And he's like,
yeah, and he feels what just happened. Like he feels that a spike in the force. She gets scared, spike in the force, and he goes to see what's going on. And as he's walking over, we see her climbing out, and she then questions, "What is that all down there?" And that's when he maybe dives deeper into the Chosen One and explains who Anakin was, how he became Vader, everything like that. And he finally tells the whole story of that, like completely. Like earlier, he kind of alludes to everything.
Yeah, like there was this guy.
Yeah, but this here, he kind of dives deep into it. And we don't need to see, it doesn't need to be in the movie, but it could be like, well, my father. Yeah. And then it just cuts to where we're going next. And I think where we should go next is to Kylo Ren.
Yeah, and he's on his ship.
On his ship with the Knights of Ren and Phasma and Stormtroopers. Oh, look who's back! Phasma!
Yeah, back and going to get more than 5 seconds of screen time.
Exactly!
Woo! But this time Phasma's way more, like, prominent.
Yeah.
Like,
and
she actually has some power.
And right now, Kylo's only, like, person that he can boss around are the Knights of Ren and Phasma and the Stormtroopers. So he's abusing that power because, he has no power because Snoke has ripped the power away from him. So he's trying to get it out in any way he can.
Him and Phasma are on the same level. And there's just the butting of heads there.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, in a sense, they are almost on the same level.
Yeah, so it's just like, she's like, fuck you, you can't tell me what to do.
But what's an interesting aspect of this is you have Phasma, who's in charge of the Stormtroopers. Mm-hmm. You can then treat Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren as like the special forces almost.
Yeah, they're like the paratroopers.
Exactly, and I just thought that, like, I thought that's how the films were going to go. Like, they were kind of Snoke's, like, special forces that he sends out for special missions. And then you have Phasma in charge of the Stormtroopers, and it never played out like that. But here, it could do that, which I would think would be really cool. But they start talking, and they're talking about things. Or no, how about this? So, Kylo's just sitting there, Like he doesn't freak out or anything. He's just sitting there right now, and he's just thinking. And the Knights of Ren, they're emotionless and motionless. Like they have their masks on and they sit there and they just don't move.
Yeah, like fucking robots.
Exactly, they're like robots.
That'd be weird.
Wouldn't it be weird? Like creepy weird.
But I could explain that. I don't know where at though.
But so he's just sitting there and kind of just thinking, and Phasma starts, we're X amount of time out, blah, blah, blah. This is our mission. This is what we're going to do. Like she's telling her crew what to do. And she's saying, this is what they're going to do. Like pointing over to Kylo and the Knights of Ren. And Kylo's not responding. And finally Phasma goes over and goes, sir. And he snaps out and he goes, and then he lashes out on her. He don't disrupt me. Blah. He starts freaking out. And you're seeing the unhinged Kylo,
or he's going fucking just crazy.
Exactly, and it's showing that he's unhinged, that he's not. Again,
he's not afraid to team
something kill. Something that was alluded to in Episode 7, but not built on Episode 8 like it should have been. And I think that needs to be built here, and we now are seeing why, because of the distrust that his master has for him is making him unhinged, on top of the fact that he just killed his father 24 hours ago.
He's gone. He's mentally unstable.
Exactly.
He's
and showing that instability within his mind, I think, would be important. And, again, this was just character building for Kylo at this point, and introducing, like, hey, Phasma's here.
Phasma still exists.
Yeah, and she's actually gonna play a role here.
Yeah, she's not gonna die.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So they're going off, and as it fades away, you kind of see them like they're at Yavin.
Yeah.
They're about to land on Yavin. Cuts to Leia and them on Yavin, and Leia goes, like, she just stops and goes, no. She knows Kylo's coming. Like, she can feel Kylo coming, and she, kind of goes off on her own. Like, she just goes and does her own thing. And Poe and Finn, or not Finn, but Poe is like, General, where are you going? And she's like, I need you to handle this. You're in charge. Like, this is like where she dubs him as being a leader. Like, you have to take my place right now. There's somewhere I must go. And she goes off because she's going to meet Kylo.
Nice.
Where do we go from here?
Okay, well,
I need your help here.
Okay, so they're going there, and reinforcements for them start to show up at the same time. Like, you can see ships coming and going, kind of like. So you do see, like, various different aliens. Like, I'm a huge fan of the Wookiees, so, like, Wookiees are going to be there.
Yeah.
And all kinds of stuff. I would like to... I mean, we could go back.
Wait. So you're saying we're starting to see the help arrive?
Yeah.
No, I don't want that to happen. I know it's a cool idea. I know what you're saying, but I kind of have an idea where you're going, and we can still hit there. Yeah. So, but keep it. Nobody's arriving yet.
Okay. No one's arriving yet.
Nobody's arriving yet.
But that one guy that got Domino's pizza.
Okay. I don't know if you can see where I'm going with this yet, but I think I have an idea where you're going. So none of them are arriving, but Leia goes off. Poe's like confused, but he's like, okay, well, he's at this point, again, it's kind of mirroring Snoke and Kylo, Poe and Leia, but reversed. Leia has faith in him. So he's like, I can't mess this up.
Yeah, like, so he's like, set up a perimeter.
Yeah, so he's like, she didn't tell him who's showing up. So they still don't know. Like, Leia dropped the ball. Like, she's like, Kylo's coming.
Yeah, she's like, I got to do something.
I have to go talk to him. Like, that's her mind. It's her human. She's not as trained or as, like in tune with the Force, and all she knows is, okay, he's coming, and it's worrying her. Like, that's the only thing that she can think of at that point in time. So she goes and is going to handle that. So Poe is just like, okay, we're still making the preparations for their
people to arrive,
their friends to arrive, their backup or what have you. Nobody knows that the First Order's coming. Yeah. Except for Leia knows that Kylo's there. So that happens. We go to Finn at this point, and we see Finn waking up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And not running around like a dumbass.
Yeah. He's waking up, and
I mean, he can wake up in shock, like a jump, like
yeah,
bash his face off of it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that would make sense.
Yeah.
You just got cut up last time, you knew.
Exactly.
So
But he wakes up, and the first thing he does say is, "Where's Rey?" I like that too because it's very,
like they had
romantic
romantic interests.
Exactly. So and nobody, like, there's just the doctors there. There's nobody that he knows. It's just doctors and robots and stuff, droids there, like trying to fix him up, and they call for Poe to come, and Poe comes, and he goes, "Hey, buddy," and it's kind of reminiscent to the Han and Luke thing that happened in Empire. I like the little poetic nature of like connecting things to previous movies, like Lucas did. And we're gonna do kind of the same thing. And he's like,
random Tauntaun just shows up.
You took but
sorry,
he's like,
man, we're trying to get rid of these things.
He's like, you took a hell of a hit there, on Starkiller Base, man. It's good to see you back, And he's like, well, where's Rey? And Poe goes, well, and cuts to Rey on Octu, and it's daytime now, and
she's
out there
slicing porgs.
She's doing the lightsaber training that we saw her doing.
Yeah, I was gonna say that would be a good time to start the saber training.
Yeah. So she's doing the lightsaber training, and Luke is standing there, and he's just watching her. And then he goes, he starts talking about the Force. Let the Force flow through you. Feel it. Blah blah blah, that kind of stuff.
Do it.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Like gotta just. Force stuff, teacher Force stuff. That's what he's doing. Yeah, like
do it.
We're not making up dialogue here. That's just what's going on.
It is what it is. So yeah, she's doing that, and then she feels a disturbance in the Force.
Okay, keep going.
So I mean, she would probably feel that Leia's like distraught, is what I would say.
I could buy it. It.
I mean, she doesn't know why. She's just like, oh, Leia's upset.
Yeah.
And then Luke's like, what?
No. I think it would be something. I think I like it. I think that she, she feels a disturbance, and she looks at Luke and goes, Leia, and he goes, what about her? Like he's now worried. Like, what about her?
Like, because that's the sister.
And then it cuts to them in their hut, and they're sitting there meditating, trying to reach out to see what's going on because now he's worried.
Yeah, and he's starting to slowly open himself up to the Force again.
Exactly. And he's needing her to help, a little bit. And he's getting open back up to everything. And I forgot. I just thought of that moment when he was sleeping. He woke up and he brought out his lightsaber. Like that was the first time he had his lightsaber in the movie.
Yeah.
Anyways,
and it would be the green one.
Yeah, definitely.
Of course.
Anyways, so jumping back to where we were. So they reach out, and he's not feeling everything. He's not seeing it, but it's right as Kylo is landing in that moment where he was in the zone thinking. So it's kind of like we're overlapping things a little bit. So we saw the Kylo side of it, and we saw some story, and we came back, and now we're seeing the Rey side of it.
Yeah, and then some story.
And then some story, and then there's some story.
It's hard when two storylines coexist in a movie.
But we see it's Rey that is, they're meditating, and
they bridged their minds.
And they bridge their minds there. And Luke the whole time is sitting there, and they're all like, there's a conversation going on between Rey and Kylo, and she's like, don't do this, because she believes that he's going to kill Leia. That's what he's going there to do. And she's like, don't do this, you killed your father, you murdering snake, and blah blah blah, all that stuff. And Luke then, like, all of a sudden it hits him, and he's in the conversation, and he's like
he's like, what?
And he's like, what's going on here? But he missed the Han part. Save that. He missed the Han part, and he's like, Ben, where are you going? Ben, what are you doing? And he's like, found you. And and Kylo's like, what? Or not Kylo. Rey's like, no, don't do it. And then that's the point where Phasma pulls him out, and they're out, and Luke is like, what's going on with Ben? Like what? And that's where he finally learns about Han. At that point, Rey tells him about Han, and then that's where he finally decides, I have to go.
Yeah.
Like that's when he decides he has to go. All right, so
we're there. Chewbacca's doing some Chewbacca things.
Yeah, Chewbacca's around.
We don't forget about him. He's just doing stuff.
He's
throwing rocks at Rey while she's saber training.
Yeah, we'll do that. Instead of having a little ball droid, he's just throwing rocks.
Throwing rocks. No, he's throwing porgs. Like, he throws rocks and then he picks up a porg not knowing. And there's the comedy of it, because there's just a pile of rocks and a porg jumps up and he throws it and Rey just misses.
Yeah,
Like, that's the one she misses.
So Luke goes to his hut and he's starting to prepare some things, and Rey is standing there, and
that's when he changes from his white robe to his, like, gray robe. The black tunic thing.
Yeah, I like it. So. But he's he's preparing stuff.
He also cuts his hair and shaves.
And then you hear, and Yoda shows up.
Yeah.
And you have Yoda, and Yoda starts talking to him, and it's like he's telling him she's not ready. You know, he's like, Luke, she's not ready, and he falls back into but Leia will die if I don't go.
Yeah.
He falls into that, and because his connection with the Force is starting to get strong again, because he's set himself off, he's having trouble to differentiate, real trouble and stuff like that, And I know fans would still get mad at this, like, Luke wouldn't do that, but no, like, think about it. You shut yourself off from something for so long,
That's like not drinking. Like, drinking a lot, then quit drinking, and then you go back to drinking 2 years later, and you have, like, a beer and you're drunk.
Yeah.
Like,
so he's just, like, he's, like, really worried about her, and he knows he shouldn't be, but he is, And now, because he knows that Ben has fallen so far, he's even more worried about her. So Yoda's like, don't do it, she's not ready for this. She's not ready for this. And he's like, blah, blah, blah. Was I not ready, for facing Vader, blah, blah, blah. She'll be fine.
And Yoda would be like, no.
She'll be fine. And then Obi-Wan pops up.
But Ewan McGregor.
Yeah. Obi-Wan pops up. And when Obi-Wan pops up, it cuts to Rey, and she gets, like, she feels something. Like, something like, over. And she looks over at Luke's hut, and she starts to make her way over to it. And they're sitting there talking, she needs to finish her training. She needs to know. And he's like, she will know in time, but I got to save Leia. Like, I have to go help Leia. And it's just a battle. And that's what made the relationship between Yoda, Obi-Wan, and Luke so good, because Luke was very much like Anakin. He was very much like Anakin, and you got to keep him that way. I understand that, you want Luke to have grown, and he will have grown.
Yeah.
But he still has that little bit of Anakin in him, where he goes against his slapsticks. He goes against his masters. Like, that's what it is. Like, he's very headstrong. He's that kind of person.
Relatable.
But Rey gets there when they say she must complete her training and she must be told of who she is. And she doesn't go in or anything, but she now realizes Luke knows.
Yeah.
So she goes, all right, and she kind of just walks off, and she finishes preparing. And he's like, she will learn in time, but I have to do this. And he just marches off, and cut scene to
Leia.
Okay, where are we going from there?
Kylo has landed.
Okay.
And Leia's she's not close, but she could, like, see it in the distance.
Oh, she sees the ship landing.
Yeah.
And she's
so she's not there, but she's in close proximity, I guess.
Yeah.
So she continues her march. I mean, she I would say she has a pistol. That's the only thing she has, because like, you're walking out into the woods in the dark. I mean,
okay, so she's still making her way over there,
making her way in the world.
So she makes her way, and then it cuts to Kylo and them all landing. Yeah, and they land, and obviously the stormtroopers are not in their white; they're in,
like camo,
like a camo type of armor, and
they're mostly scout troopers too.
Yeah. And Phasma, reminds everybody, try to not,
don't kill unless you have to.
Exactly. And this is reconnaissance, essentially, And they go, and, she looks at Kylo, and Kylo just,
is like...
Yeah, like
whatever.
Do what you have to do, Yeah. And he feels Leia. And he looks at the Knights of Ren, and he goes, I'll be back, or something like that. And he goes off on his own, and the Knights of Ren go off on their own. Yeah. So they're kind of separate.
Yeah, like they have their own mission.
Yeah, it was like Kylo is supposed to be with him on the mission. Yeah. But he's like, go ahead, I'll meet up with you.
Yeah. So they're carrying out their own thing.
They're completing the mission that Kylo's supposed to be leading, but Kylo's not following. He's not doing it. Or leading. He's going to see Leia. So he walks out into the woods, and the two of them meet, Leia and Kylo. Leia
And
Ben.
there's some good distance between them. They're not like super close.
Yeah, they're not like where we are across the table.
Yeah.
I'd say maybe like 15 feet. You know?
Like there's some distance.
And
she's like, Ben.
Yeah. she says Ben, very similar to how Han said Ben. You know, like Ben, and he goes, Ben is gone.
Yeah, Ben's dead.
Ben's dead. And there's a similar conversation, much to how Han and Ben had a conversation. Come back with me. We can work this out. Things can change. And he starts the conversation. No, I'm gone. I'm gone. There's no more Ben. There's no more Ben. And she's starting to cry. And she's like, what did I do? What did we do to deserve this? Why did this happen? And now he starts to explain. You threw me away. You were afraid of me and sent me to my uncle, who could not handle me, who then threw me away himself. My father ran out on me. Like, he's explaining all this, the things that made him who he is now. And you just see Leia's face, and she's just crying and crying, and she goes, so there's no redemption in you. And he goes, there's not, and there's one more thing I must do to complete my transformation, or something like that. And she goes, then you do what you must. And he walks up, and he turns on his lightsaber, and he goes to swing, and right as he goes to swing, she pulls out a lightsaber.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I was hoping you were going with this. I was really hoping you were going there. What color? Yellow?
I don't even care at this point.
Yo, it was yellow in Force Awakens too. It's canonically yellow now. Fuck yeah, I appreciate this.
Yeah. So there's this crack, and Leia uses the Force because she's older. She's an older woman, so she's not going to be as acrobatic as
she would be Kylo. On par with like Dooku.
And not only that, but she hasn't been fully trained in the Force. She was she got started late, so she's not fully trained in the Force. But she uses the Force, pushes him back, and she goes, "Please stop! I can't. We can't do this. I can save you." And she's still trying to reach him, still get the redemption idea into his head. And he's just like, "No, I must do this. I must do this." And he comes over and he swings the lightsaber, another crack. She goes to use the Force this time, but as she's about to lift her hand, he does his freeze thing where he freezes his mother. And then he starts to talk, and he gives his final goodbyes to his mother.
Bum, bum, bum.
And he kills her.
Rest in spaghetti.
But,
but it would make sense because still Carrie Fisher would be dead. Yeah. Like outside of the film.
But he kills her. And Luke falls to the ground. They're walking on the Millennium Falcon. And he's about to walk on, and he's just like Obi-Wan did in New Hope. Like he stumbles and falls to one knee.
Or like Yoda did in Episode 3.
Yeah. And he just goes, no. And it just gets somber, And
you
then
hear
all of
a
a
really
sudden,
slow piano in the background.
Yeah. All of a sudden, it cuts to Phasma, and you see Phasma's troops, and they're all outside of the temple where they're where the Resistance is, and they're all standing there. They're setting up their perimeter a little bit, as much of a perimeter as they can set up. And
because there would only be like 25 of them.
Yeah,
there wouldn't be much.
And Phasma radios or communicates to Kylo and goes, "We're in position." And he goes, and as that happens, he looks down at his mother and turns off his lightsaber. She falls to the ground. And he goes, "Understood." He turns on the communicator. General Hux pops up, and he goes, "We're in position." And then turns it off, and then it cuts to Hux in the First Order, and pew, 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 they all hit light speed, and they all go. So they all, so the First Order is showing up.
It is on their way.
It's on their way, and it cuts back to Luke, and Rey runs down to down the ramp, and helps Luke up, like, what's going on, and then she realizes it at that point. She didn't feel, because her connection to Leia wasn't as strong as his, but
yes, now she's
realizing it, and he's like, she's gone. He's gone. And she thinks he's talking about Han, but he's talking about Kylo, Ben. Like, he has fallen. He has completely fallen at this point.
Would you call him a Sith?
No,
Sith.
He's just a fallen Jedi, completely fallen Jedi. There's no redemption at this point. You cannot redeem Kylo at all. Nothing to redeem in him.
But no Sith.
But not a Sith.
Not yet.
You have to be dubbed a Sith. You have to be dubbed a Darth, and he's not.
He's Darth Kylo Ren.
So, Rey, well, we have to go. We have to go. Helps, Luke onto the ship. he goes and sits down where he sat down in episode 4 after Ben died, and Rey looks for something, finds a cloak, the same exact one or blanket, the same one Leia put over him after Ben died, and she puts it over him. Like it would be the like same exact mirror, like same exact picture, like the camera's same angle, everything, and she puts it over him, and her and Chewie run to the cockpit and they take off, and they're going. So now we have them leaving Octu going to Yavin. We have the First Order going to Yavin. We have those who they requested to come back to Yavin are on their way to Yavin. Yep. We have Leia dead. We have Poe in charge. That's where we're at this point in time.
And shit's hitting the fan. And there's a build-up. So you wouldn't have Luke and Leia meet one last time?
The way this played out, no. No. Unfortunately, not yet.
Well, I mean, he's probably going to find the body.
Hold on.
I mean, he probably didn't throw it in a bush.
I got some ideas.
It's probably just there.
I got some ideas.
So, I don't even know where, like, everybody... It's all going to meet on Yavin at one point. I mean, Poe could be there kind of, like, giving orders.
So we go back to Yavin, and Finn is suiting up. He's getting suited up, and, Poe's like, okay, well, and this is where we finally hear the plan of the Resistance. This is where we find out what's going on with the Resistance and what Leia's plan was that Poe was involved with and everything like that. And it's about getting everybody together, and they were going to attack...
The First Order.
The First Order. Like their plan was to surprise them, to sneak attack them. Because they still believe they have the upper hand. They destroyed Starkiller Base. Most of their ships. Yeah, they felt like they're weakened now, and we need to regroup and attack again. And this is the best time to do it. We need to get all of our forces together, though. Yeah, we're weakened because we lost the Republic, but we need to attack. Yeah. And we came here. This was the central part for everybody to meet at. And this is where we're going to regroup and boom, go forward. So, everything's being talked about, and then all of a sudden you hear, "Sir," and Poe looks, and whoever's at the computer board, maybe make a Billy Lord's character.
Yeah, we got to make her relevant.
Yeah, she's like, "There's ships coming on radar. A lot of ships. How many?" And what would you say, 300? 400 ships, something like that, something crazy, some crazy outrageous number
like
that
500
you wouldn't hear about. And she says that.
But I mean, like, there's like, would she break it down? Like, there's 3 dreadnoughts.
No,
how many?
No. Maybe like 300. It looks to be 300 Star Destroyers and 1 dreadnought. And Poe's like, that's impossible. They did not. Their forces weren't that built up. Like because they're still under the impression that they were small force.
Yeah.
That they somehow made the Starkiller Base and they put all of their energy into that.
Yeah, without doing anything else.
Yeah. So like they're still under that impression, and he's like,
oh shit.
And he doesn't know what to do. So he pulls up the communicator, like trying to General Leia, like he's trying to reach Leia, and a hologram pops up, and it's Kylo, and he goes, "So sorry to tell you that your general has been is dead, is gone,
has been killed, KIA." And
Poe like starts freaking out, like no, and like he just throws
out, looks back at the screen, no.
He's just like, I don't know, like what do I do? Like, and
I wasn't ready for this.
Exactly. But we're going to find out that he was more ready than he actually believed. So he starts, really like okay, so, and Finn's like, what can I do? And it's like they together create a plan to protect the base, and they try to reach out to their friends, but they can't. It's being blocked. They can't get any messages out. So they're like, well, all we can do is hope that they get here in time. You see where I was going with it now? Yeah. So they're like, okay, well, we need to make our final stand here. So it's very much like what we got on Crate, but it's on Yavin now.
Yeah.
So they all show up. They're starting to send, ships down.
Down. They're getting AT-ATs down there, fucking everything.
Yeah.
They're just unloading.
Exactly.
So you kind of get like the Crate scene of all the walkers walking, but they're walking through the forest. And trees are falling, and we have that guy, like how in episode 4 there's a guy like standing on that like high post. Yeah. You have him standing there, using the binoculars, looking around, and then he hears something. He looks over, and you just see trees, and just trees falling, like a whole line,
and then
just
walkers. and he's like, "Iceberg ahead."
Yeah, he's like, get me out of this thing.
Screw this crap, I'm out.
Yeah, he's like, where do I unenlist? I don't care. Dishonorable discharge. Get me out of here. Like,
I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done. Out.
So, but he alerts like, hey, they're coming, and it cuts back to them, and they're all like, they're all preparing, and you see them with blasters, stuff
and they
like
have
that.
turrets and stuff
they have
too.
Turrets, yeah. So they're they're already.
No. I wouldn't say tanks. They wouldn't have anything like
tanks.
that.
They don't have they have some military stuff, but not a lot. But the doors open. Mm-hmm. As the doors open for the soldiers to run out, the doors open. Boom, 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 boom. Explosions everywhere, and you see Captain Phasma come walking through.
Yeah.
Remember that shot in the trailer where like, she's walking into a base, and that wasn't what it was?
Yeah.
No, it freaking was.
Yeah. No, she's walking into a base now.
Exactly. So now the war is breaking out inside Yavin base. Like that is where the war is going on at this point. There's just gunfire,
gunfire, chaos, people running
everywhere, and Finn sees Phasma, and he's like, "I got this."
Yeah. And then there you go. There's their climactic battle, kind of.
So he it's like he's gonna go off to that, but the scene cuts. We're to Luke and Rey on the Millennium Falcon, and they come out of hyperspace, and they're
just like, whoa,
and they see all this. But it's the freaking Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, and Chewbacca's fucking piloting.
Chewbacca's co-piloting it.
And that robot's no longer in there. So now it's just a tank at this point.
So they're starting to, TIE fighters come out, and they're starting to come at the Millennium Falcon, and they're weaving and dodging. And
not Leia. Rey's shooting, but Luke's also using the Force and, pushing shit away.
Luke is still kind of distraught. Luke's a little distraught still. Luke's still a little distraught. And, they're like, Luke, we can use your help. We need to use your help. And he's just like, she's gone. He's still, can't believe that she's gone. She's gone. It's my fault. He's blaming himself.
Yeah, for her death.
For her death. She's gone. She's gone. And at that moment, you hear Leia's voice. Luke, it's all right. And he looks, and Leia's standing there.
Yeah.
Boom! There it is.
Scared the shit out of me. I like that. I like that.
So
I get behind that.
And then the music, the probably the best music in all of Star Wars starts to play. Luke and Leia theme, and they have a conversation. And instead of Luke being the one that says, "I can't save him," Leia's the one he can't be saved.
Yeah, she has lost hope.
Yeah, he can't be saved. Don't mourn me. It's not your fault. Whatever. Blah blah blah.
It is what it is.
So at that point, he walks up to the cockpit. And dude, badass scene. Walks up to the cockpit, and they're like, straight ahead. There's a Star Destroyer. We can't get out of the way. There's a reason why they can't move. And he just closes his eyes and reaches out his hand, and then you just see explosion in the Star Destroyer, and it starts to just float downward, and they just can get right by it. Oh, dude, how badass would that be?
Starts to break apart.
Yeah,
shit. That'd be awesome.
How cool is that?
That'd be the first time we'd see something like that since The Force Unleashed.
But he's showing his
he has grown that much in the Force.
He's grown so much, and he's given himself back over to the Force. The talk that he has with Leia is what brings him back to the Force. Yeah. He remembers the Force. He remembers how to let it flow through him and control him and stuff like that. And that's what happens. And he's able to use it so the Falcon can get through to the planet. And they're going down to the planet.
I also want to make sure that debris actually falls on the planet like it forgets to in almost all other space movies. Debris does fall on the planet and does start to wipe out a little bit of stuff.
I'm fine with that.
Because, space movies tend to forget that.
I'm cool with that, man. I think that'd be a cool concept,
Yeah, debris falling, so it's taking out walkers, it's hitting the temple and all kinds of... you can't control it, so it's just destroying everything.
Yeah, definitely. But as a Falcon comes in, you see there's, air battle, there's aerial fights. And
you got some X-Wings.
And stuff like that fighting. The walkers are still going, and you see the turrets shooting at the walkers.
Would you make Poe in one of the X-Wings?
No,
or he's still in the
command center. He's got a command, and I know the whole pilot thing, but honestly, the best pilot was Anakin Skywalker and Han Solo. Those are the two best pilots that we've ever seen, and that's all we should see.
Sadly, they're dead.
Yeah. So he's back there commanding, and they get into the into the atmosphere, and they're seeing all this, and they're like, well, where do we go? And Luke goes there. So they fly off, cuts to Finn, and Finn is picking up something I don't know, maybe that
sword thingy,
a staff or something like that, and a blaster.
And he's walking up to the front line shooting shit.
Yeah, and he's a badass. Like, he's a complete badass. His stormtrooper training is coming into play here.
Yeah.
You know, he's shooting stormtroopers as walking his way, like Ramboing shit. Like,
yeah, and his troops are seeing that and are rallying behind it.
Yeah, exactly, rallying behind him, and they're, you know, he's going up there. And but Phasma is in his sights. Like, that is directly who he's going to. And he finally, like, he kills a bunch of people, and he turns and he takes a shot at Phasma, and she pulls out her staff and just knocks the fucking laser blast away. And then people are going to be like, oh, so she's force sensitive? No. It's just, she's that badass. You got to make her a badass character. So he's, at this point, close enough to where he throws down the gun and he pulls out his staff. And the staves are very similar to each other.
Yeah. But they're not like the club things.
Yeah, not the club thing.
They're like
the staff that she had in episode 8.
Yeah,
like it's
similar
like
to that.
Yeah.
Okay, I can get behind it. As long as it's not the fucking Billy Club things. That was dumb as shit.
So she's like FN 2187, you know, and
he's like General Kenobi.
Hello there.
Ooh, they could have a line like that. Though.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
He could be
She's more like Grievous than Boba Fett if you really think about it.
He could be like, hello there. She'd be like Finn.
Yeah, FN 2187.
Yeah.
Fancy seeing you here, or something like that, you know. And they just, they look at each other. They have maybe a couple words, and then it goes, ah, and then the clash of the staffs. But then it cuts the scene to Luke and Rey landing the ship, and Kylo just standing there watching the Millennium Falcon land.
Yeah. And
the door drops. The ramp
is he still
drops.
standing like by Leia?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So the door drops, and the first person that comes walking down is Luke, and he just walks,
just
slowly,
chilling,
with his robe on, and he comes walking down, and Kylo goes, "We've been spending a lot of time," or he's like something like, "We've been looking for you everywhere. We've been, it's been hard finding you," something like that, like we've been trying to find you, type of thing. And Luke is just like, "Well, here I am."
Yeah, here I am.
Exactly, and he goes, he walks up and he's like, you failed me, it's your fault, blah blah blah. Like, Kylo's blaming Luke for everything.
Yeah.
But Luke isn't taking it to heart now.
Yeah.
He's like,
he's deflecting it.
Yeah, he's basically like, look, you did this. This isn't because of me. I didn't fail you. You failed yourself.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Like, you allowed this Dark Lord to twist your mind until now you've come the very thing you've swore to destroy.
Kylo, my allegiance is to the Senate, to democracy.
So that's going on, and there's, again, it's just a conversation, very, very Anakin and Obi-Wan-esque.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's just, there's conversation going, and the lightsabers come out and they start fighting. I don't know what leads up to it, but those two, Luke and Kylo, start fighting, and Rey is like, "What do I do? What do I do?"
Yeah.
And then she notices the Knights of Ren are around her, and one comes charging at her, and she just pulls out her lightsaber, and they start having a battle. And then all the Knights of Ren, what is it, 4 more of them or 5 of them?
I think 5.
She's taking on 5 of the Knights of Ren by herself. Oh, she's too OP. No, hold on.
Yeah, let's calm down a second here.
So she's taking them on. Boom, we cut back to Finn and Phasma. They're fighting. They're having a big-ass battle, that kind of thing. At this point in time, Poe's looking down, and he's seeing shit's just not going right, and he's like, I have to get out there.
Yeah.
That's when he jumps into an X-Wing.
Yeah, and he's just destroying shit.
And he goes out, and he's starting to fuck shit up. Sorry. He's starting to screw stuff up.
Nah, I've been swearing the whole time. It's okay.
So he's taking out, ships left and right and stuff like that, and then we see another ship come in. It's very reminiscent of Palpatine's ship.
Yeah, like it's a shuttle.
It's a shuttle, exactly. And it comes landing down. And we then see that the entranceway to the temple, the temple in Yavin, is pretty much clear. And it's the First Order is in charge right there. Like they're holding it. Yeah. Door opens, and Hux walks out, and Praetorian guards come out behind him. Snoke comes out behind them, and Snoke comes walking down, and he's looking around, and he goes, "Well done, Hux. Well done. Now where's Kylo?" and it goes back to Kylo.
Yeah.
And Kylo and Luke fighting, and stuff like that. And Rey, she's holding her own, but she's getting beat around quite a bit. Like, she's getting punched, she's bloodied, she's all screwed up.
A little cut up.
Yeah, she's all caught up and shit like that. And things are just going bad, for him. And then all of a sudden, Luke, at this point, he kind of moves his fight with Kylo closer to Rey. So now it's 2 against everybody.
It's 2 against 6.
And now shit's really getting cool, like really badass, So, like, Luke is hitting, Kylo's lightsaber. He turns and, takes out a fucking
Knight of Ren.
Knight of Ren. As he does that, Rey puts up her saber and stops a slice from Kylo that was going to hit Luke. And then those two start fighting. And then he starts talking to her, because like they kind of switched, because Luke was like, I'll take care of these guys. Rey can handle that for a moment. But Kylo's like, join me. And together, blah, 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 like that kind of stuff. But as they're fighting, he's talking to her like that. Like, I can feel the conflict. I can feel the anger, all that stuff. Like, he's telling her that. And she's trying to remember the training that she got from Luke, but she's hearing this, and she's kind of giving in a little bit, and she's getting an upper hand again, like she did on Starkiller. Yeah. And at this moment, Kylo's like, this is my time to beat her. So he's getting cocky. And he's getting reckless and not, doing what he can do. And there's a moment where Rey gets the upper hand, like hits his shoulder and, stuff like that. And he falls a little bit, but she doesn't slice him like she did before. She just kind of holds him there. And she's like, no, I won't join you. I won't join the dark side, And she looks over and sees Leia laying on the ground. And, it's just like, and then flashes of the dark side hit her. And she goes to raise her lightsaber to kill him. And right as she's about to do that, you hear Luke go, no! And she stops. And you see Luke as he has a lightsaber in a Knight of Ren, and he pulls it out, and the last Knight of Ren falls to the ground. And he goes, no. And walks up. And they, that's like where it ends. Like, shoot back over to Poe doing his shit. Yeah. He gets shot down because I don't even know what to do with him. Yeah,
so, he's shot down, and now he's stranded out in the woods. Only with a pistol.
Okay, all right.
There we go. Right. But for some reason, it only has 12 shots. Plus 1 in the chamber. Yeah. Of course.
So he gets shot down. Finn is getting... Like, he was getting the upper hand on Phasma, but she plays dirty and then gets the upper hand on him, and now he's kind of captured almost. Yeah. So this is the typical Lucas thing where everything happens... Actually, switch that around. Switch around the whole thing with Kylo and Rey. Rey sees Leia. The dark side rises up in her, and she gets reckless herself. Kylo turns it around. She's on the ground. He's about to kill her. Luke yells, "No, don't!" as he's killing the final Knight of Ren. So every single hero that we know of is in a predicament, like Lucas likes to do in his movies. You have like, take a look at Return of the Jedi. Like Luke is being defeated. The rebels on the moon of Endor were captured.
And space was going to hell.
Exactly. that's a very Star Wars thing. But we have it all here. Poe crashes. Finn's in danger. Rey's is down and almost about to be killed. And at that point, it's like it's that dire thing. So how do we get from there to where we're going? So, okay, so we see... I know exactly where I'm going. I don't know. Jump in when you want, man.
No, go ahead. I'm emotionally invested at this point.
So, we see that all happen. We go back to Kylo and Luke, and he has his saber, and he looks at Luke and goes, if she won't join me, she has to die. She's too powerful to be kept alive. Okay, so she's too powerful to be kept alive. So Luke is like, you can't do that. You can't do that.
She has to stand trial.
Yeah, and he does one last thing. He does one last thing. He goes, I feel the good in you, the conflict. And he's just trying, even though he knows that he can't be saved. He's giving it one last try, and it's all for a good reason, because his idea is to distract him enough. Yeah. So he's like, I feel the good in you. I feel the conflict, and he goes, and he looks, what conflict? And you hear, and there's a shot from the woods. Poe shoots Kylo right in the shoulder, in the chest, or something like that. And he falls back, and he drops his lightsaber. And at that point, Luke uses the Force and pushes Kylo and pulls his lightsaber at the same time towards him. So he's like that.
Yeah.
Pretty badass scene, I would say.
Yeah.
Kylo's lightsaber goes to Luke. He grabs it. Kylo's like falling backwards, and he's near a ledge. Like he's like, we'll just make it near a ledge because why not?
Yeah. I mean,
cool.
for climax or for scenery.
For scenery and story use. So they're like near a ledge or something. So he's like getting close to the ledge. And Luke is like, Ben, this didn't have to happen like this. And
this could have been different.
Things could have been different. And this is where Luke goes, look, I understand that I was wrong, but you had to know I always loved you. You were like my son. Like I loved you.
The comparisons.
Too many company or too many connections.
I like the mirroring. It's Star Wars though.
Yeah, exactly. Now, as he's saying that, all of a sudden you just hear in the background
someone fapping because of how awesome it was. Understandable. Random just resistance fighter out there just beating it.
And the camera angle is like where Poe is standing, and Poe looks, and there's Snoke and Hux walking towards Luke, and Snoke goes, "Master Skywalker, it's been a while."
He's like, General Kenobi. What the hell? I think one chair just broke.
Oh, that's good. And Skywalker, Luke turns around, taking his attention away from Kylo at that point. He turns around, and right as he turns around, Snoke shocks Luke, and he falls to the ground because he's being electrocuted.
Yeah.
And Kylo, like, sheepishly walks over next to Snoke, very reminiscent of how Vader was standing next to Palpatine as Palpatine was electrocuting Luke before. Maybe don't make Hux there. Hux isn't there. Hux is somewhere else.
Hux is out on kind of like the front line, but the command post on the front line.
Yeah, exactly. He's not there. So that's going on there. Okay. And you're like, oh man, what's going on there? So we go back to Finn, and Finn's like, I don't know. Like he's like, it's like him and some other people, like other resistance fighters are there, but they're in like the command room. Like their fight like went into the command room somehow.
They were pushed back that far. Yeah,
they're there, and then all of a sudden you hear over the speaker, "Come in. This is General Calrissian."
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, what? Oh crap! Like, yeah, that's right. They're on their way. They're coming. So you hear that, and then it cuts to Calrissian as they're coming out of hyperspace.
Yeah, and he has a small fleet.
And there's just a small fleet behind him, and then on the other side you see Holdo come out of hyperspace,
and she has a
small
slightly
fleet
bigger
behind her.
fleet.
And then another one comes out, and there's another fleet, and they just start firing on the Star Destroyers that didn't know they were coming because they're all focused on the planet. So there's just a big fight going on there, and that's when you see Hux and Phasma. Yeah, Hux is over there with Phasma, and Hux is like, terminate them. And then he turns like he's going to go back up to space, and that all took off their concentration just enough where he picks up like a bomb or detonator or grenade or something. Like Finn picks something up and he throws it, and explosion, and things start to go. But it's in the favor of the good guys now.
Yeah.
So we go back to Luke and everything that's going on there, and there's just this big, conversation by Snoke on, I've spent, X amount of years looking for you.
I've spent decades looking for you.
Yeah, exactly. You're the last remaining Jedi. And it's time that the Jedi end, and stuff like that. Like, there, it makes more sense now. Look at
it's
that.
like, holy shit, everything makes sense.
Everything's coming together. So, and he's
and a Wookiee Armada shiz up. Woo!
Hold on.
Damn it! I just want Wookiees to appear, man.
They're coming. They're coming. I know it's coming.
Are they though?
Yes.
Good.
Yes. So, he's just, I've been searching for you for blah blah blah, and it's time for you to die, and as Snoke goes over there, he goes to electrocute, and just as he does that, Rey pulls up a lightsaber and slices Snoke. Like, she just uses like some crazy ability that like
that force speed that was shown in Episode 1.
Yeah, exactly. Like, she and just jumps over and slices him.
But with Leia's saber.
Yes, with Leia's saber. And as she does it, Kylo felt it. So at the moment, like, he was just a hair off from her. So he does that, cuts Snoke. As she was doing that, Kylo reached for his saber, grabbed his saber, and their sabers meet after she cuts through Snoke. And their sabers clash right there. And Snoke just falls to the ground dead.
Yeah.
You know, and then Rey and Kylo start fighting again. Luke laying there, and he's just like he's slow to get up. Again, he's an old guy, you know.
Old guy, and he got shocked like he was in his 20s.
Yeah, exactly. So then we cut up to space, and Holdo goes, "Send the Armada down," or something like that. Here you go.
Yeah, fucking
so,
Wookiees.
You know, the Wookiee Armada goes down onto the planet.
Fucking ripping people's arms off and shit.
Yeah, General Calrissian is leading the space battle now. Very episode 6-ish, you know, leading the space battle.
But he has the Mark II Millennium Falcon this time.
It's another Millennium Falcon, but different.
Yeah, I mean, like, it has the same shape, kind of, but you could tell it's a different ship.
Okay.
And you could be like, fucking Han. Like, he catches a glimpse of the Millennium Falcon down on the planet, he's like, fucking Han.
Maybe.
Because he doesn't know he's dead yet.
Yeah, he doesn't know he's dead
so he's
yet.
like, fucking Han's here. And he's just like, does his own thing.
Maybe. So. I don't know. But, so, you know, he's doing his thing leading up there.
Wookiees are beating people with their own arms.
Yeah, Wookiees come down, and they are now attacking the First Order that's on ground, you know. And the reason why they send the Wookiees down is because it's a tree planet, you know, it's a forest planet, essentially.
And
you know?
it's Wookiees. Why wouldn't
and it's Wookiees, come on. You know, but I mean, there's other troops, but there's Wookiees as well. Yeah, there's regular troops there, but...
Fucking Operation Wookiee Shield. The first 500 troops on the ground are Wookiees.
So they're going and... Cut back to Finn in the base, and he walks up to Phasma, who was blown, like, you know, she was blown up but not completely blown up, and her mask is destroyed, and she's scarred on her face, and, you know, she's just a mess. And he goes, you know, I've been wanting to do this since I was a kid, you know. And he pulls out his staff, and he goes to stab her, and, you know, right as he was about to do that, there's another explosion. He gets blown back, and when he comes to, she's gone.
Yeah.
You know, and he's like, you know, like, he was that close, but she's gone. So they've kind of got their little victory there, you know. The Wookiees are coming in, they're getting their victory. Yeah. Space is winning, they're getting their victory. Some of the Star Destroyers are starting to fucking take off. They're like, screw this, because they're just all disoriented. And we're back to Rey and Kylo. This is the final, you know, this is like the final bit of the movie here.
This is the final, like, 20 minutes of the film.
Not 20 minutes, a couple minutes, you know.
20.
And they're fighting, and they're just going at it, you know, and he goes, "Has he told you yet?" You know, and they're fighting, and she's like, "What? Has he told me what? You know, we know who you are." Like, he's like, "We know who you are," you know, and there's a reason why you were hidden on that desert planet Jakku. Your parents were never going to come back for you. You know why? Because your parents are dead. And do you want to know who killed your parents?
My grandfather.
Luke Skywalker killed your parents. And what are you doing? But they're still fighting, you know, like there's this happening during the fight, and she's getting more conflicted. And he goes, you know, this happened, you know, after the fall of the Empire, you know, and he starts telling the story. After the fall of the Empire, Luke went on a search to make sure that all remnants of the Empire and the Sith were destroyed. He came across 3 people who happened to be the descendant of Emperor Palpatine.
Ooh. That took a twist.
And he killed the mother and father, but he couldn't kill the child. Instead, he hid the child on Jakku.
I hate sand.
So we find out that she's a freaking Palpatine. But you like how I kind of switched it up there, because earlier in the movie I hinted to her being an Obi-Wan.
Being a Kenobi.
Kenobi.
Being an Obi. She's just a reincarnation.
Being a Kenobi.
I mean, you could do the whole Lich thing be just a reincarnation of Palpatine.
No.
Oh, come on.
I like the descendant thing. I like it.
I mean, it's still a descendant thing.
I like the descendant.
It's still a descendant thing.
And she's like, you know, and she learned about Palpatine in the stories from Luke earlier in the movie.
But kind of one-sided. Yeah,
very one-sided. And she's like, wait. So now she's coming to the realization that the Skywalkers have killed her family. Yeah. Anakin killed her grandfather. Luke killed her parents. And now she's getting conflicted. And she turns the lightsaber off.
And she realizes there's 2 Skywalkers around her.
And and she's sitting there, and she's just now conflicted. And at that moment, and Ben, Kylo's like, you're going to join me, and we can destroy Luke. We can rule the galaxy. We can finish what our grandfathers have started.
Yeah.
You know?
I like that.
You know, and she's just conflicted, and she just goes, no, I'll never join you. And at that point in time, what do we want to have happen? Because something needs to split them up. Because neither one did. Because
some sort of explosion happens or space debris starts to fall.
Space debris is falling. Okay. Yeah, they look up and space debris is falling. They have to like back up from each other and falling, and get a real cool picture of Rey looking through flames at Kylo. You know, like that'd be a really cool picture of seeing Kylo.
Also, Chewbacca and the Millennium Falcon's still not there. Or, like, not there. They, like, joined the space battle.
Yeah, they went up and joined the space battle.
He went to the space battle.
There we go. That's why Calrissian sees the Falcon then, because the Falcon's flying around up in space, and he's
Chewbacca's
but he's trying to call Han, and he can't reach Han, you know, the whole time. He must, and he just says a line like, communicator must be down or something, you know?
Yeah, it is a old piece of shit.
Yeah. So, or he goes, I've been telling Han for a while to get that communicator fixed.
Yeah.
You know, something like that, you know?
Because then, I mean, like, when Han ran away, he could have easily sucked Lando somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Want to play Sawbuck or something.
Yeah. So, Kylo gets in his ship and flies away. You know, Luke comes over to Rey and goes, you know, I didn't think you were... And she's like, get away from me. You know, like, she doesn't want anything to do with him. Yeah, she didn't want to join Kylo, but she doesn't want anything to do with Luke right now either, you know?
She wants to become a gray Jedi. I know how much you hate that. I said it to trigger you.
So, Leia's dead. The Resistance has kind of won. They've lost a lot of forces.
But so did the First Order.
So did the First Order.
So we're basically at the end of Episode 8, where
so
like it's kind of an even playing field.
So it kind of, you know, jumps up in time just a little bit, you know, like a day or two, and they're having a memorial service for both Leia and Han at the end of the movie, and the tears are falling from the audience's eyes.
And you hear Han and Han and the princess.
Oh Han is. Oh my God, that is brilliant. Oh, dude, you just broke my heart.
You're welcome.
Like, holy crap, dude.
You even questioned me for a second. You were like, Han and what? And I was like, yeah, Han and the princess.
Oh God, dude, like, wow, that's just brilliant. You know, and that's playing there.
But in a chord lower. However, like in a more somber.
More somber way. And you know, Rey is there, but she's kind of off to the side. You know, Luke and Chewie and
But
R2
she does have donned the Jedi cloak now.
Yeah, she has a cloak and everything like that. Yeah, but she has Leia's lightsaber.
Yeah, she's now a yellow lightsaberist.
Yeah, she has Leia's lightsaber, and she's just standing there, you know, just watching the memorial, and you know, she's just thinking, you know, stuff like that.
And we hear Weesa not having a good time.
You know, we see Luke and, you know, and everybody else, Lando, and everybody just, you know, at the memorial of the funeral and everything. And
no, that's how Lando finds out Han's dead.
Well, I mean, yeah, he finds out somehow. But I was going to lead something else to that, but it didn't play out like I thought, so I just forget it. So,
I mean, it could have been explained in the 2 days.
Yeah. So,
I mean, when everything settles and Han's not there, obviously.
Yeah. So it kind of cuts to that, and Luke is talking to Yoda through the Force, and they're talking, you know, and he's just talking about, you know, how the First Order is should be in shambles now. They don't have a leader, that kind of thing, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. And Yoda goes, "What about the girl?" And he goes, "I'm gonna give her time."
It would actually be like, "Girl, what about her?" Yeah,
and he's like, "I'll give her time." And the camera goes back to her, and then do 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 do, and that's it.
The highs, the lows. I like it.
No Rose, no Canto Bite.
Now, Rose could be there, but she wouldn't be Rose. She would be shooting a gun. Yeah. She would be relevant to the fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I mean, when at that point you would have, I don't give a shit if you're a mechanic or what you are. You are on the front line now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's how bad it is.
Exactly.
I mean, she could die. We could make her die.
Why not? Yeah.
I mean,
why not? But again, I think, you know, you have that feel of Star Wars where you have the
despair,
the search, you have the battle, you have the loss, and then you have the win, and then you have the middle chapter where it's just what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
You know, like what's next? Because, like, you know, at the end of Episode 7, we're like, hey, it's hopeful. We're going to find Luke. You know, end of Episode 4, we you know, destroyed the Death Star.
Yeah.
At the end of Episode 1, you know, hey,
it ended.
We won. Yeah, we won. So it's like, it's always like the first episode of all the trilogies are always kind of hopeful, and then the second movie, you know,
is like
end of Episode 2.
Crazy.
begun the Clone Wars has. End of episode 5, oh crap, is he really his father? Is that what's going on?
His hand's gone.
Yeah. At the end of episode 8, it would be like, is Palpatine really her grandfather?
Yeah.
Are they really?
I would understand why she's so strong. Or it makes sense. It makes sense why she's so strong.
Exactly.
We should start making movies, man.
Hey, Lucasfilm.
Aren't we doing this like once a month?
Yeah.
Like, since it's our Patreon exclusive episode.
So, this episode is not Patreon exclusive.
But MovieBoot will become
MovieBoot is going to be a Patreon exclusive. Once a month, we're going to do a different movie for our MovieBoot. So, if you have ideas, if you want to hear different types of shows or different types of movies rebooted by us, send us an email, tell us on Twitter.
Comment under the previous episode on Patreon.
Yeah, definitely.
You can do that.
Let us know what you want to hear for MovieBoot, and
if we run out of ideas, maybe since we have a month, we could write one.
Yeah, so it'll be a good time had by all, I say.
Yay!
But that was the MovieBoot of Star Wars Episode 8: The Last Jedi. I kept the name and everything intact for it. I just think it's a way better film.
I mean, the Last Jedi that still would make sense with the movie.
I know,
because like Luke's still there and Rey's not technically a Jedi.
Exactly.
Kylo's not technically a Jedi.
Correct.
Technically.
Correct.
Formalities.
I know. It was a good time. I had a good time with this.
Jar Jar secretly comes out. He's the real Snoke. Lisa didn't know.
But, yep, there you go, everybody. That's been MovieBoot. I hope you enjoyed it. We definitely can't wait to do some more of it.
Yep. Find us on Patreon at Nerd Talk Lips Podcast Network. Donate $1. You can hear this episode. Or not this episode, but all the next MovieBoots.
Is that part of the first tier? Okay. Yeah. So, $1 a month on our Patreon, and you can hear every MovieBoot every month.
Yep.
So, yeah. Thanks for listening. I've been Robert.
And it's been your boy.
Take it easy, everybody.